When we think about where the next pandemic might come from, our minds usually jump to, I don't know, sterile labs or maybe crowded hospitals. But the real story, well, it starts somewhere a lot wilder. Today, we're going to dive into the animal kingdom to figure out the potential sources of the next big global health crisis.
So where is it going to come from? The fascinating and honestly pretty critical answer is that it's probably already out there, right now, circulating in the animals that are all around us. We're about to break down which ones pose the biggest threat and, more importantly, why.
So this story really begins with something called zoonotic diseases. It's just a scientific way of saying a sickness that makes the leap from an animal to a person.
And to really get a handle on this risk, scientists are keeping a very close eye on 5 key groups of animals.
Yep, these are the world's 5 main zoonotic hotspots. These are the places where a new disease is most likely to pop up and become a threat to all of us. Let's get into it. First up, bats. Okay, think of bats as nature's ultimate virus warehouses. It's pretty incredible, actually. Their immune systems are supercharged because of the high energy they use for flight. This lets them carry all sorts of diseases. We're talking Ebola, SARS, tons of coronaviruses without ever getting sick themselves. Now, the danger isn't the bats, it's us. As we cut down forests, we get closer and closer to them, basically building a bridge for these viruses to cross over. Next on the list, pigs. And there's a pretty terrifying reason they're often called mixing vessels. See, pigs can get infected with viruses from both birds and humans at the same time. And inside a pig, those different viruses can actually swap genes, creating brand new, really dangerous strains. And this isn't some sci-fi theory. It's exactly how the 2009 H1N1 swine flu pandemic got started.
All right, our third hotspot is birds, especially poultry, chickens and ducks. They are the main source for most flu viruses, including some really deadly avian flu strains like H5N1. So far, thankfully, human outbreaks have been pretty contained. But the thing that keeps scientists up at night is the thought that just one tiny mutation could let one of these strains spread easily from person to person. That could trigger an absolutely devastating pandemic.
Coming in at number 4, we have rodents. I mean, think about it. Rats and mice live pretty much everywhere we do. Bustling cities, quiet farms, you name it. And that constant closeness makes them a huge risk. They can carry a whole menu of nasty pathogens, everything from hantaviruses to the bacteria that causes the plague. And when things like poor sanitation cause their populations to boom, well, the risk of a spillover event just goes way, way up.
And finally, non-human primates. Monkeys, apes, they're our closest relatives in the animal kingdom. We're just so similar genetically. And that biological closeness, it makes it so much easier for viruses to jump between our species. We saw the devastating results of this with HIV, which we know originated in chimpanzees. And as things like habitat loss and the wildlife trade bring us into even closer contact, that risk just keeps on growing.
Okay, so there you have it, our 5 main suspects: bats, pigs, birds, rodents, and primates. But you know what? Just pointing the finger at them isn't the whole story. Not even close. In fact, it misses the single most important part of this whole equation.
After looking at all 5 of these animal groups, we have to stop and ask, are they really the ones to blame? Who or what is the real culprit here?
The truth is, it's not the animals. They've been carrying these viruses for thousands, even millions of years without any issue. They are not the problem.
The real driver, the true culprit, it's us. Our actions are what turn these potential threats into actual global crises.
We are creating the perfect storm. Deforestation brings us face to face with wildlife we'd almost never encounter otherwise. Intensive farming crams animals together, basically creating incubators for new viruses. The global wildlife trade ships pathogens all over the world. And you combine all of that with weak public health systems, and you're just constantly creating opportunities for a new disease to emerge and spread like wildfire.
Okay, I know that all sounds pretty bleak, but understanding the problem is truly the first step toward a solution. And the good news is, there is a unified path forward that gets right to the heart of the issue.
The most promising strategy is something called the One Health approach. It's a really simple but incredibly powerful idea. You cannot protect human health without also protecting animal health and the health of our environment. It's all connected. So by managing our ecosystems better, by improving animal welfare, we are directly cutting down the risk of the next pandemic.
So this all leaves us with one essential question to think about, doesn't it? It forces us to see that the health of our own species is it's inseparable from the health of our planet. The evidence is crystal clear. When we protect our environment and the animals that live in it, we are, in the end, protecting ourselves. Thanks for joining me for this explainer.